So our today's topic is marginal efficiency of capital, which is MEC, marginal efficiency of capital. It is one of the determinant of investment demand. Investment demand, all right, which is part of aggregate demand. So you can understand it in this way, that aggregate demand in a two-sector economy without the active role of government and without any external sector, the aggregate demand will consist of consumption demand and investment demand. And out of the various determinants of investment demand, one is marginal efficiency of capital. Now, what is marginal efficiency of capital? It is the rate of profit expected to be made from investment in certain capital assets, all right. So when the firm would be deciding whether to go for a particular investment or not, it will first try to calculate or try to measure its marginal efficiency of capital, and based on that it will decide whether to undertake that investment or not. And it is basically because investment always yields results after a particular period of time or over a particular period of time. That is why the rate of profit is expected here. He cannot be, the entrepreneur cannot be for sure, he cannot say surely that how much profit he would be making by making that investment. So that is why we are saying rate of profit expected to be made from investment in certain capital asset, all right. Or you can also say that rate of profit, because the word marginal is there, which means one extra, so rate of profit expected from an extra unit of capital asset, Now the question arises, how to measure it? How to measure MEC? So there are basically two things that we need to know to measure MEC. One is the supply price of capital asset, or it is also known as cost of capital, and other is the prospective yield of capital asset. So what exactly do they mean? When we say marginal efficiency of capital, or what will be the profit of investing in a particular capital asset, first we need to know at what price that capital asset was acquired, which is the supply price, and what is the expected yield or prospective yield of that capital asset. And if we will subtract both of them, we will be able to measure marginal efficiency of capital. How that is precisely done, we will just see. Now, for this we need to know what is the supply price or cost of capital asset. Now, it is basically the price which the entrepreneur pays, which the entrepreneur has to pay for a capital asset. And what is the prospective yield? It is the yield which he expects, the entrepreneur expects to obtain from investment in the capital asset. Now, this is the price, this is the prospective yield of capital asset, but in this we need to know one thing. What is that thing? That when we are talking about capital asset, a capital asset continues to produce goods and yield income over a long period of time, all right. Because it's not that only for a short period or at a particular period of time. Once a capital investment is done, okay, it will yield results over a long period of time. All right. So the entrepreneur has to estimate, he has to estimate the prospective yield from a capital asset over his whole life period, okay, over his whole life period. Now this process is a little tricky, and this is if you understand this, you will be able to know how to calculate MEC. And Keynes has also defined MEC. What is MEC according to Keynes? Okay, it is equal to the rate of discount, which would make the present value of series of annuities given by the returns expected from capital asset during its life just equal to its supply price, Now we will understand this with the help of this formula. C is equal to R1, capital R1 upon 1 plus R, R2 upon 1 plus small r whole square, plus R3 upon 1 plus R whole cube, and so on. Okay, and in this formula, this is R is MEC. All right, C is the supply price or replacement cost of our capital asset. These are annual prospective yields of capital assets. All right, and R is the rate of discount. This is the rate of discount. All right, and it also represents the MEC or the expected rate of profit. So here in this formula, you need to understand, all right, R is that value, or it is that rate of discount which over a period of time, okay, let us say N is 20 years here, okay, over the period of 20 years, this R, if let us say R is 2%, and at R 2% or 12%, let us say, the supply price of capital is becoming equal to the annual prospective yields over the over a period of n years, or let us say 20 years. Then that MEC, that discounted value or expected rate of profit would become the marginal efficiency of capital. Okay, as you see that what is MEC according to Keynes? It is equal to the rate of discount which makes the supply price equal to the prospective yields over a period of time. All right, and when the supply price becomes equal to the discounted prospective yields, all right, when will it become this? When the rate of discount is equal to MEC. So when this MEC is known, let us say using this particular formula, MEC is calculated to be 12%. Now if MEC is 12%, okay, and at MEC 12%, supply price of capital and discounted prospective yields is becoming equal, only in that case the particular firm or the entrepreneur should go ahead with this capital investment. All right, so as you see, if supply price is more, all right, and discounted prospective yields is less, supply price of capital is more and discounted prospective yields is less, in that case also they should not go ahead with the investment. And if discounted prospective yield is more and supply price is less, in that case obviously it is beneficial to go ahead with the capital investment. But MEC should be minimum, the rate of discount should be minimum equal to the MEC. Okay, only then that capital investment becomes beneficial. Another point to be noted here is that when we are talking about marginal efficiency of capital, when we are talking about marginal efficiency of capital, and we see the relationship between marginal efficiency of capital and investment, right? We said that that MEC is a determinant of investment demand. There is an inverse relationship between MEC and investment demand. Why? Because as investment increases, the output produced would increase, and when the output produced increases, prices of the good would decrease, which will lead to a decline in the prospective yield of the capital asset, and which in turn will lead to a decline in MEC. So this is one way how the inverse relationship is established between MEC and investment demand. Second is, when investment increases, the supply price, when investment demand increases, the supply price of capital asset also increases. It increases, which leads to a decline in marginal efficiency of capital. So when we will draw the graph between MEC and investment, okay, investment on the x-axis and MEC on the y-axis, this is precisely the curve that we would get, MEC and rate of interest. All right. And when there will be a change in MEC, there will be shift. A change in MEC would lead to shifting of the investment demand curve. So if MEC increases, there will be a leftward shift of investment demand curve, and if MEC decreases, there will be a rightward shift of investment demand curve. Another point to be noted here is that our investment demand is getting influenced by marginal efficiency of capital and rate of interest. And marginal efficiency of capital depends on two things: prospective yield and supply price, as we've already discussed. Prospective yield depends on business expectations, and business expectations can be of two types: short run and long run. Now, short run business expectation depends on existing stock of capital and strength of consumers' demand, whereas in long run, the future changes in stock of capital is taken into consideration of capital assets, and also resulting changes in the level of aggregate demand over the life of the asset, right? So when expectations decrease, when expectations or business expectations, I'm talking about the long run, decrease, MEC curve or the investment demand curve will show a leftward shift, whereas if expectations decrease, the MEC curve will shift, or the investment demand curve will shift rightward. Now, if our investment is interest elastic, means it is changing as rate of interest changes, then a decline in rate of interest will be able to induce a stimulation or an increase in investment only if marginal efficiency of capital is more than the rate of interest. If marginal efficiency of capital is less than the rate of interest, then a decline in rate of interest will not be able to, or will fail to stimulate investment. It will fail to stimulate investment. All right. Hence, it is very important to note that if MEC is greater than R, okay, if MEC is greater than R, then investment will continue to rise till MEC starts falling, and it falls to an extent that MEC becomes equal to the rate of investment, and at this point further investment stops. Alright, and here you need to note that MEC is more volatile. More volatile means it can change more easily than rate of interest, and it adjusts itself according to the rate of interest. Please note, marginal efficiency of capital is the expected rate of profit from from investing in an additional capital asset, and rate of interest, you all know, is the interest earned. All right. Now here another thing to be noted here is that R is actually sticky. Sticky means rigid. Okay, not easily, cannot be easily changed in the short run. All right, whereas such a restriction is not there with MEC. So this was a detailed discussion on marginal efficiency of capital.